So we know a little bit about you and that you were 2000 Olympian, but tell us more about your background.
What people don't really know about myself is I started when I was 7 years old, and on accident I actually had a track meet at elementary school that we competed against all the other elementary schools for just pride. It wasn't anything, medals, anything like that. And so I ran my first race and broke a record, and my dad, being a high school coach, spotted the talent. It was like, oh, okay, I think I might have something. And so one thing just led to another, and so I developed a passion for winning and having success. So that's kept going all the way up until where I'm at right now, to still want to have that drive to win and drive to have success.
Okay, so where are you actually from?
I'm actually from Palmetto, Florida. It's a suburb of Tampa Bay.
Okay.
About 30 minutes across the Skyway Bridge.
Okay.
Sarasota, I'm right in the middle of Sarasota, Tampa. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we know you were an Olympian in track and field. Was that the only sport you played, or?
You know what? Early on, I was all track and field. I was so good, my dad didn't want to let me do other sports, but then once I got to middle school, I started playing baseball, and I started doing football in high school, and got to a point to where it was like I was good in all three sports. And so I wanted to be like Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson. At the time, those guys were doing multiple sports. And so that one thing just led to me going to the University of Florida and then transferring to Carolina, and they let me do both sports there. So
okay, all right, go Tar Heels.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So that was your road to becoming a collegiate athlete. But
yes,
what did that look like? I mean, what did that actually take for you to become a collegiate athlete and then on to being an Olympian?
Wow, you know what? I didn't understand early on the work ethic it was going to take to be an Olympian. I did know how to work hard, but just watching my dad get up early in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and coming home at 7, 8 o'clock at night when it's dark. And so he took me with him in the summertime, and it was out in Florida. It's hot, 95, 100 degrees out there. And so I learned at an early age that you have to work if you want to be able to have success. So that translated over to my professional career when I moved to Los Angeles, California, to UCLA. I went to train with Maurice Green, John Drummond, Otto Bowden. Those guys at the time was blazing up times. I was like, whoa, if I could just get in that particular camp, train and understand what they're doing, watch them, I knew that my talent and my ability to want to succeed would actually take over. And so that's what ended up happening. I ended up becoming an Olympian as a result. So
what did it take for you to compete on that level? I mean, how hard was it?
It's a job. I mean, it's not just get out there and run. And I must admit, when I was in high school, I thought it was just be a talent would just take you to, propel. I mean, you talk about nutrition, you're talking about supplementation, you're talking about massage therapy, you're talking about flexibility. I mean, it's like you go down the list, and this stuff is expensive too. I mean, that's the part that people don't understand. This stuff takes money, and so I was fortunate to have a private sponsor who sponsored me, and once I made the Olympic team, I was able to get a contract with Adidas. And but prior to that, it was a struggle. I mean, I remember knocking on doors with my dad when I was younger, to raise funds. And so actually, a fraternity in my hometown was the first one to actually give me public funds. I'll never forget that. And so those are things that I kind of look back on now as I try to give back now.
Okay. So you mentioned you were, you had to pay all throughout until you got into that level where you're getting sponsorships and deals. So what kind of money were you making?
I was making some really good money. I tell you what, I was getting paid $10,000 at my highest peak to just show up at a track meet. And that's called an appearance fee. And then you had endorsement deals like you go to a school and speak to kids, things like that. You had video games, Konami. You had things like eyeglassware, Oakley. So at my height, there was times where I was doing 6 figures in a month, so we added it all up, and we ran from June all the way to September. So you can imagine the kind of money. Now, I didn't make the money that Maurice Green, all those guys made. They made millions, but I did well to where I could have 3 houses, and I was able to maintain that lifestyle with my tractor.
Okay, so what kind of advice did you receive or support did you have more so in the financial realm?
You know what? That's a great point, because along the way, my private sponsor, this gentleman was worth $300 million liquid.
Wow.
He was a former doctor, got into real estate, made a lot of money. He was actually in the financial markets as well. And so that piqued my interest when it came to financial markets, the stock market, and how money moves. And
overall, what do you feel made you different? How did you manage your money differently?
What advice he gave me was, you know, you can only run for so long. You have to have that backup plan. You know, we always say that plan B. And at the time, he actually, you know, I wanted to go into business.
Right.
And so I just watched him, I learned, I absorbed the information that he was telling me about.
Okay.
And I use those same principles right now today in my business right now today.
So were you trading then?
You know, I dabbled it with some penny stocks.
Okay.
I mean, you know, that was
Yeah.
when a person gets introduced to the markets, they always do the penny stocks. It's just like you only doing with 10 cents,
Yeah.
15 cents. But I did have some success. You know, I made a couple of dollars. It wasn't anything big to write home about, but I missed some key big opportunities in the markets with Krispy Kreme donuts and Starbucks. I remember like yesterday. I mean, my buddy was telling me, hey, you need to buy some of this Starbucks coffee. At the time, I like Starbucks. I'm from Florida. I mean, I never heard of Starbucks coffee. And so, make a long story short, Starbucks ended up doing what it was doing. And so, Krispy Kreme donuts. I grew up around Krispy Kreme donuts being from Florida. And that was another thing. I was like, yeah, what's so big about Krispy Kreme donuts?
Right.
But missed that one as well. And I said, you know what? That's 2 in a row. And I said, I'll never miss, well, anytime somebody come to me with a valid, I would say a stock tip or financial advice like that, I would definitely do my due diligence to look into it at least. You know, I didn't even look into those other ones. I just kind of like brushed it off because I was making so much money.
Right.
You know, so.
Right. But you were pretty fortunate that you had a sponsor who said, listen, this isn't going to last forever.
Sure.
So do you feel like other athletes had someone like that as well? I mean, was that built into the systems? Was anyone coaching or advising?
That's a great point. I was fortunate though because when I became part of HSI, it was called Handling Speed Intelligently. That was the acronym for our group. We actually had a retreat every January in Las Vegas. Our agent would and the coach would put together some financial people to come in and talk to us. So we was fortunate. Not everybody had that.
Right.
And so, and then my financial background with, you know, going to school, I actually started off in business and that's switched over to recreational administration. But so I was more studious, I like to read. And so when I looked at, you know, things that I have read, I was a little bit more fortunate. You know, I was more intrigued by that versus video games. I never really was into video games and whatever else you're into at 18, 19, 21 years old. So money has always fascinated me. So I was fortunate in that case.
Okay. So what problems did you see with you mentioned people who were making a lot more money than you.
Yeah.
But what problems did you see even then with other athletes on that level?
They was living in the moment. They wasn't savers or they wasn't investors. They didn't know anything about investing. I mean, you know, and so, you know, if you want what successful people have, you will do what successful. That would save me. I just kind of modeled on a smaller scale, of course, what the successful people was doing. I just did it on my little level and kind of diversified. I had some silver, gold, you know, some currencies, things like that. You know, just nothing major. We're just having a diverse portfolio, and but that saved me versus some of the other guys that would be like, well, I'm going to the club and I'm going to go spend, you know, $5,000. Like, are you crazy? You know, and then being married as well early on like that too. I had a wife, and not that they didn't have wives, but it's just that my priorities was a little bit more on.
Right. So, what would you say their lifestyles are like now compared to then?
I'll just tell you what, I would want to trade what I'm doing right now to what they're doing right now. You know, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with coaching, but to go from where they were, you know, actually almost like riches to, you know, average blue collar. Nothing wrong with being a blue collar, but it's just a different world. I mean, when you could have taken care of your finances on the front end, so that way you can live a comfortable life on the back end. So I think they would agree too that they blowed a lot of money and, you know, can't get that back. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Right.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about what made your experience different, but how did you actually, and besides your investing, how did you actually manage your money differently?
You know what? My accountant, I'm just glad I had good people around me. I've had some good, solid people around me that told me early on when I first started making money about QuickBooks and things like that, little software that I can use to track, you know, my spending habits and put yourself on a budget, you know, things like that. I was never really a big spender anyway. And so, again, I was kind of, you know, fortunate that I wasn't like one of these kind of guys. Now, don't get me wrong, I had the nice cars, I had the BMW, Mercedes, I had all that stuff, but I'm not a jewelry type person. I mean, I'm not a gaudy type, you know, flashy. Yeah. I'm real laid back, simple, you know. At the end of the day, if I got money in the bank, that's what gets me excited, having money in the bank.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned other people have become coaches or maybe even trainers. what did you do next? What was your next industry?
You know what? I got involved with network marketing. Believe it or not, I know a lot of folks is like, network marketing. Fran Tarkenton, I was at a seminar right after the 2000 Olympics. I mean, he caught me at a great time because I had that tragedy where I wasn't able to get that individual gold medal in 100 meters. And I was kind of looking at, man, where was he going to go back to football? He caught me at the right time where he was, in Long Beach, California. I'll never forget it, doing a seminar with small business owners. And I went and listened to his speech and what he was talking about. And somebody told him that I was an Olympian. I was in the room. And after the event was over, he wanted to speak with me. We sat down and spoke. And, next thing was history. I ended up being part of the company that he was representing at the time and had a lot of success with that company and, went on to do a six-figure income with that company and help a lot of people with that company. So I'm just looking to duplicate what I did before with the same type of character people. We have a great group, the 10 group, and we're doing some great things. Team Elite Network, that's what that stands for.
Yeah.
And so we're looking forward to really just taking what we're doing now and just spreading it to the masses.
Okay. So you're a professional Olympic athlete. What now? A network marketer. What does residual income mean to you? What has it meant to you? What has it done for you?
Another great question. I mean, what network marketing means to me is the lifestyle, to be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. That's really, it's not it's not so much selling and, people look at the meetings you go to. You don't have to do all that stuff to be successful with our particular company that I'm in right now, Wealth Generators. However, I can't understand how people do get burnt out, because they don't have a plan or a process, and they're working with the wrong people, those 3 Ps. Yeah. And so when you have a plan, a process, and you're working with the right people, it becomes fun. It's really like, are we really getting paid to do what we're doing?
Right.
And so network marketing and residual income, that's the only thing I know how to get residual income from, where I don't have to spend a lot of money to be able to create a product, to upsell it, and to be able, let me take the product that's already in the marketplace, let me share that with some people, and together, collectively, let's go out and share that information and make money. It just makes too much sense to me. So people see that passion and enthusiasm, like, man, this guy is really excited about this. So that's all I try to do, work with good people and have a good product that stands the test of time. And this product that we have is the category creator.
Awesome. So share one time and get paid month after month, right?
Month after month.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So any final thoughts or anything else that you'd like to share, either with, young and upcoming athletes who are making a lot of money, who think it might last forever, or just anyone in general?
Find your niche. Find yourself something that you really feel as though that you can be in front of a trend. In other words, there are things. Social media right now is really hot. So in our minds, if we really knew what social media was going to do, 5, 6, 10 years ago, all of us would have been jumping on whatever type of social media platforms that are now popular, right? And so I think you would agree that I try to be a visionary and try to look at things that are like, okay, what is the wave of the future? Where's technology going? Where is products that people really need a need for right now that can really just, you can do it over your cell phone.
All right.
And so we found that, and so I would tell a person, whatever it is, whatever business that you may be in, master that craft, become a student of the game, be excited about it, and, take that to the masses.
Awesome.
You know what, I would really, financial literacy, that is a key. It's one thing to, how to read and write, but money, how understand how money works and how it moves and how it breathes and how it's emotional. Emotions are attached with money, and so you have to learn how to have money be not so much your master, but have it be you're a slave to work for you. In other words, have money work for you. That is so key. That compounding interest is a word that I've been on and I will always be on. Residual income was the one that you mentioned, but compounding interest, getting that money to grow. Just like that penny that doubles every single day, that becomes $5 million in 30 days and then $10 million on the 31st day. I still can't sleep because I now have access to compounding interest. And if people would just kind of, pull the layers of the onion back and just look at this thing like for what it is, I would tell them to take a good look at Wealth Generators because we are going places that haven't been chartered before. And I'm proud to be a representative, independent distributor, and one of the top leaders in this company.
All right. And which group is that again? That you're
the group I'm with is called TEN Group, TEN, Team Elite Network. And, you know, I believe in team together, everybody achieves more. But Elite Network, I like to surround myself with elite people, people that take their craft seriously, people that are students of the game, people that really are with honesty and integrity and character. Those are the kind of people I want to surround myself with, because that's real, you know, that's authentic. And I think people see that and be like, okay, you know what, this is totally different than anything I've seen. So 10 Group, we got some big things coming down the pipeline. We just finished our first retreat here in San Antonio, Texas.
Awesome.
And had about 5 different states fly in with my leaders. And so I'm looking forward to showcasing some of my leaders as time goes on. So y'all stay tuned for what's coming down the pipeline.